Two things I wanted to point out here, showing you first the lug nuts. These are real titanium. These are not to be used with an impact gun, either to remove or to retighten. Everything on these bolts, or on these lug nuts I should say, needs to be by hand. I torque it to roughly about 86 foot-pounds on a torque wrench. Anywhere between that and 92 should be good. These are, like I said, these are authentic, genuine racing titanium lug nuts, super lightweight, but the threads on them can be pretty fragile if they're crossed. Also wanted to point out the StopTech brakes. These are the ST60 calipers on the front, 14-inch discs on the back, 13-inch with the ST44 calipers, or ST22 calipers, I should say, I'm sorry. The pads are brand new, tons of life left. The rotors were spec'd out not too long ago, tons of life left. Don't need to be turned. The pads do not need to be replaced. The pads only have maybe 2,000 miles on them since I got sponsored for a new compound to try out from StopTech. They're a really good pad. Definitely street oriented. If you want to track the car, they're going to have to. The pads are probably not exactly the best for the long haul track events under really hard braking. They're really great for the street, however. Wanted to point out one thing though. This is standard with any big brake kit that uses a solid fixed style caliper like this. Especially when you're going into a turn, you're gonna notice sometimes that the brake pedal sometimes doesn't feel as firm as it should. It's something called brake pad knockback. It's a physical property because these calipers do not move. Versus like a standard style floating caliper that normally would come on the car. It has a little bit of play in it, so that way when you're going into a turn or you're slowing down or you're coming to a stop pretty quickly, it doesn't allow any flex. What happens is that the pads need to be initialized basically. A lot of times on fixed calipers, fixed caliper braking kits, you're going to need to tap the brake pad or brake the pedal really quickly, and then you'll feel the full pressure of the brake pedal as you would normally expect it. It's something that racing drivers and pretty much anybody, even if they have a stock Z with the Brembos, will notice. So especially the bigger the caliper is and the bigger the pad is, the more pronounced it is. It's not a defect, it's nothing wrong with the car, it's just a physical property of having a fixed caliper versus a floating caliper. And there's a lot of research you could do online. You could look it up on Google, or you can go onto any of the SCCA websites. People talk about pad knockback. You can also look at StopTech's website directly, and they actually have a pretty decent write-up about pad knockback, what it is, and the dynamics of it. So just wanted to point that out to you. I didn't want you to be driving it and feel like something is wrong.